Well, got another srt4 here. Somebody wanted me to look over it. Wow. Lots of issues. And it's going to take a lot of work to make this right, if they so decide. They just purchased this. I don't know what they spent for it. It came from out of New Jersey. I'm in PA, obviously. A bunch of people know that. So let's just walk around, okay? It's an 05, and we know that because it's orange, but somebody did put some wrap on it. You can see it has a couple dents here. It had a bunch of body work in here. You can see where some stuff was ground in up here into the paint. Typical stuff. This isn't put in behind the bumper right, not together. You know, just normal. Two of the studs are snapped off on this, and I think there's a couple dents up here in the passenger door here, which is a little hard to see. Yeah, right there by the handle. But all simple, small things compared to everything else. You just wrap right over top of this. Missing the front nostrils. That's a big one. Missing everything that holds the bottom here together. Oh, it actually does. It has the one piece here. I missed seeing that. So, just looking at this thing, okay. I was working on pulling the coil off because I wanted to get back in there to see some more stuff. This core support goes like this. So I don't know if somebody tried jacking up in the middle at one time, or if they hit something. It's all bent, like bad. It's got this pushed up. The hood doesn't shut right. We got some damage over in this area. We have no reverse light sensor plugged in. We've got bolts snapped off on that actually hold the tray. This one's snapped off on this far right side. This is tough. There's a lot to hit here. Down underneath here, which is impossible to see, your trans shift linkages on the top, across through here. There's hoses and lines and everything that this is rubbing against all the time. You can see that the computer's not sitting in there right. The lower part of this fan is not down in the radiator correctly. If you take a look here, you can see this stuff right here laying against where your throttle has to move here. It's not exactly something that you want to have run that way. Man, you can tell we got a lot of stuff going on down here. We got, I don't know what they got going on with this red wire run down here. This line should be up here and come across, but they got it bent and shoved down underneath. Zip ties for days. All right, zip ties for days. It's pretty wild. So, and then we got unnecessary zip ties up here. We got, I don't know, they got that going across there. The fuel line here, I don't know if somebody made that or if they found it on something else, but it is the incorrect fuel line for this car. We've got a bunch of leaks over here. Oil leaks coming out all over the place. I'm not sure what that bracket right there is supposed to be for. Down when you come into the back here, I'll pull this off, that way we can see that. If you look, it's kind of hard to tell probably. That upper mount, it's supposed to come out straight. It's tilted down. If you take a look in here, you can see that the mount is sagged. If I jack that up, it will probably lift. You can see we got no inner wheel well on this side. Okay. And if you look, like right in here, when this wheel turns lock to lock, it's actually hitting here and in the back. And this side has a bad tie rod end. Over here on this side, it's rubbing pretty bad. So I don't know if it's a steering issue or if this thing has, I was trying to figure it out. Check this side out. This side's really bad. Oh yeah, look at that frame rail. That frame rail was shoved back, and then somebody tied a chain onto it to rip it forward. All right, let's just go see one quick. All right, so this frame rail here, they've got this, somebody hooked something here to try to pull it forward. They got it ripped the whole way out through. They rolled all this metal all the way out through. Ain't that wild? All right, so we got to see what this looks like on the back side. So you can see what we're looking at here, how bad it's hitting the transmission over here on this side. All right, and like I said, we didn't really get too far. We're just looking stuff over. I can tell you right now, there's more and more here. The more I look, stuff that the way that it was assembled here and put together is going to cause issues very soon down the line, with wires hitting and things rubbing, and there's, like I said, there's hoses and lines down here in the way of the shifter selector plate. I'm going to get this off and then we'll take a look down behind. Okay, so what I see here is the alternator wires run the wrong way. Don't get me wrong, somebody did replace the alternator. But like I said, the wires are run incorrectly. I also don't see a cap over the positive terminal, and I don't see a heat shield. Back here, let's see if we can get in here. Back in the back, I don't know if it'll come up. Back here, there's a plastic holder. Okay, what that does is that holds the lines. They are out of that, and that grommet in the firewall is actually melting from the heat from the turbo. Now let's take a look at this. This has one of those aftermarket oil feed lines on it. Okay, and if you take note, it's laying here on the wastegate, and it's also laying down in here, which is kind of hard to see. Laying on the manifold. Okay, so that is two problems caused by that right there. Okay, this aftermarket line, normally your stock line comes up right, comes out and goes straight down here. That's probably where this should be. I can tell that this rod is over adjusted. Basically, from what I got described, is when you get on it too hard, it's breaking up. The boost is breaking up. So this wastegate is basically not letting it come open. It's just way too tight. Okay. Some people think that's good, but that's actually wrong. It's kind of the way to say that. I really wish I could see more down in here. Maybe even check out, you know, look at the shifter cables and make sure that they're okay. But there's just so much stuff here in the way, and everything's just run incorrectly. I mean, you know, there is some stuff that's good here. It looks like they got the silicone heater core hoses. It is an AGP wastegate. It does have the newer silicone hose here. This upper rad hose is nice. It looks like it's got a black silicone lower. AGP catch can. You know, the cold air kit or hot air kit, whatever you want to call it's okay. And it does have an HKS. It looks like somebody did put brakes on this recently. It looks like the lower control arms were done. The rear pads were done. I think that also I'm going to try to do a compression test of this, and also a leak down test, because this thing, when it starts and sits here and runs, it does smoke a good bit. So I'm not sure how bad it is, but we're going to find that out too. All right, let's take a look down here. Here's what the core support looks like. Bent there. They got it cut out. You can see maybe, yeah, it looks like something hit in the middle there, or to jack it up. Who knows, right? This, you can see, is sitting down. Eventually, it's going to have a hole worn through that because the alternator's laying on it, because the center mount's out. I would say, by looking at This water pump up here, it has had the water pump replaced. It does have new axles. What brand? No clue, right? There's no real way to tell. That's a heck of a dent. Look at that. Okay. Kind of really rusty coming across here. That almost looks like it was bent a little bit. I mean, I don't see no holes through it yet. This side over here, I noticed that they have the ABS sensor wired back. Not sure what's going on there. You can see, looks like they tried replacing the drain hose for the turbo with like regular radiator hose. So long term, that's going to be an issue with that hose does not like oil. Looks like we are missing the innermost bolt for the O2 housing. Looking at the gasket from down here, I'd almost have to say that it might not be a layered one. Looks like it's just looks like it's the single exhaust manifold gasket, which is for your NA applications because it doesn't take the heat. The oil pan was replaced at one time. Guess that's a good thing. I can tell that there's silicone on this transmission, and that is a definite no-no. Look at this right here. Let's see if we can. This right here, you can see it. That's RTV. You don't want to use RTV on these transmissions because when it gets inside, it ends up clogging up the oil passages, takes out the bearings, takes out the trans. See, you can see the fan is not inserted into the rad. All right, we got some leaks over there. All right, now time to slide back. All right, heat shield's kind of damaged there, kind of damaged up there. They got a defouler in there. You can see where the wiring's hitting the floor. I would almost just say that that O2 sensor is probably wasted. Okay, now we have typical neon rocker rust on the driver's side here that somebody tried fixing with some fiberglass. It looks like they, yep, we tried fiberglassing that back together a little bit. Whole rocker, more fiberglass back there. You can see it, pretty rough. This floor here, you can see is smashed up. Let's go over to this side. Pretty much the same scenario. Rockers rotted out. Somebody did try to fix it. We have a giant hole here in the floor. I mean, they did weld the exhaust together here pretty good. I don't see nothing leaking, so that's a plus. Now, when we come back here, you can see we have more fiberglass on our rocker to hold it together. All right. You can see the ABS line was not run correctly here on this side. I don't know why this plate here is all bent up. Now let's come over to this side. Now, same here. You can see the rockers repaired. It looks like there's something up in there too in the wheel well. Now, here's a good one. I would say that that caliper is twisted about 2 times, and it actually has, hopefully the camera could see that, it's actually rubbing the tire, the little clamp there on the hose. Long term, that thing's going to wear through. It's going to take out the ABS sensor, and then it's going to take out the hose. So that needs to be addressed. Sliding on back, we've got some rust up in there. You can see somebody did replace the rear bumper reinforcement because I guarantee it was rusted, or actually maybe this thing took a hit. I see these are bent here. Over there, that one's bent. Let's see here. They're bent a little bit, not too bad. Nice modification there for that. I'm just trying to get at, when you start seeing, like, this car shouldn't be painted black underneath. This bumper, hopefully you can see up in there, it's got some studs busted off, that's why it's apart. So I'm just gonna get the vent off of this bumper just out of curiosity so we can see. All right, so it does have the original rear bumper. Maybe they got that bent trying to pull the old rusty one off, possibly. It's hard to say. All right. I just thought some of this stuff was, you know, we got a little bit of wrap here. Actually looks kind of cool. Very custom dash cover here. This stuff's wrapped in red. Now, I wouldn't know if this one is good or bad. All the 05s usually end up with stuff being cracked, and then they did the sides. So, I mean, there's a couple cool touches to the car. The driver's seat obviously has seen a pretty rough life. I'm going to grab the light. I'm going to look up underneath this dash, see if I see anything. I'm sure with the gauges that are in here, we're going to have some wiring issues. Like I said, this just kind of hangs out because they over routed this hole. So I'm going to try to wrap a little bit of tape on there, at least try to get that to stay in for the person. And maybe, you know, like I said, we got to go from there. You can see how this is all off of here because there is nothing. There's nothing to hold it because it's all rusted off. But that's very typical with these cars now. We've all kind of came to the realization fact of that now with everything up in the north and the fact that these cars are now 20 years old. Sliding around on the floor is no fun. So I'm gonna check this thing out. If I see anything else, I'll be sure to add this. But like I said, I mean, I'm sure you'll be able to see more in the videos. Like I said, this is, you can look across here, you can see this pushed up, and like I said, the rad, you know, and then some of this wrap is coming off here. So, and the bumper's just pushed out in the middle. I mean, the hood looks like it's all right. It's hard to tell if there's going to be any rust underneath here. I didn't really try looking across it to see if it has any dents, but the hood's actually really nice on this car. All right, let's see what else I can find. And yeah. All right, just checking stuff out. You can see that boot cover for the door harness isn't plugged in, and then there's the radio harness just hanging. Everything else seems to look pretty good up in here. Just quick visually. There's another shot at the seat. You know, the wrap on here is kind of cool. Looks all right. Looks like they painted the headliner. Not too bad. Yeah, let's show you up under here. Other than that red power wire running down in here, which is a little scary, everything else looks all right. But that, to me, I would change. Now, up in here, this here has very bad bushings. This one here is pretty worn out, still usable. Factory push rod for the clutch, pretty rusty. Not quite sure what you guys are seeing, I can't really tell. But other than that, not too bad. I think that at this point right now, I have a list, and we're just gonna call this the lookover video. Like, it's missing this. This, it is not installed correctly. This actually tucks down underneath here. Like that. This has the wrong fasteners here. It's missing the caps for this. This missing a seal across here. Like I said, I know there's more and more stuff wrong with this. I guess I'll do this compression test yet in this video, and maybe the leak down, and we can at least see the condition of the engine. I'm told the transmission shifts okay, which is amazing. The fact that there is the vacuum line that runs from the lower part of the intake, which is down here, and it should be up here. and we have the throttle cables hitting it and some of this other wiring. And the way that they have some of these vacuum hoses run here, also like these caps here should not be on here. Now this one here doesn't go, it shouldn't go anywhere because this has an aftermarket blow-off valve. So that one should be deleted and it should be capped back there, which I can pull that off and just plug it. Or as long as these caps aren't on here, it should be all right. So I'm gonna get them pulled off. You know, not exactly a fan of where this sensor's hanging. Like I said, it's just, there's a lot of stuff not where it should be. All right. I just never seen that. Oh, look at that. That's about worn through that AC line. So if there's any AC in there, I'm sure it's going to start punching through there pretty soon. Because that motor's vibrating. Not only that, it is sitting low. So it's allowing it to rock, and it does come up and down when you're on and off the gas. All right, comp test, leak down. Let's see what kind of condition this motor's in.